Greetings, fellow noob! Today we are on Surf SeaWorld. This map is one of the end bosses of Tier 2. It's brutal, but maybe we can make it a little easier. So, the first thing you should do is to unalive yourself. Then turn left and set a start pos. This way you always use the same booster out of the start zone. The only sensible way to enter the map is to go directly into the first spinny drop. I'm using a 200 yaw speed turnbind for this and all other quick turns on the map. The spin can be optimized way more for units, but speed really doesn't matter here. If anything, going slower makes it easier. Next, you have to dodge this annoying bar thing. There's an alternative route here that's a little faster but much dumber. I'll show that at the end. Okay, now this section is rough, but I'm pretty sure this is the easiest way of doing it. The first step is to flick into a really hard head hit before the window. The faster you are, the harder. Now turn 90 degrees left to line up with the bars and board the ramp over the spine. Then there's a ramp strafe because fuck you. And now leave the ramp flat and get on this slant, which is a booster. Now turn sharp left again. And the map gets a little easier now, but unit dependent. Basically, if you're too slow, you'll fail. On this ramp, stay high and be ready to flick off. The route I show here is going through the top window at the side. You can also go weave through the middle, which I'll show in the end. To be honest, that's probably just easier and faster, and I'm being a bit dumb doing it this way. I'm doing this head hit here only to slow down a little bit. Again, there's a different way of doing it. And now the end section. This one you should absolutely save log. Okay, let's look at it again in slow motion. First, we have a downward weave. You'll ultimately land somewhere here. That's why I went to the right first. And yeah, this board and the flick through the gap is complete piss. I don't think there's a trick to make it easier. If you're slower, you can ride the ramp to the left, stay low, and flick off very slightly at the end. Okay, and this is the hardest ramp on the map. The goal is to board it and retain about 1450 units. Less than that and your chances of comping the map become very slim. The easiest way is to cross the spine and just straight up do a 180 right onto the board. There's an alternative I'll show you in a second, but I think it's harder. The rest of the map is really just a unit check. Stay low on these ramps, and at the end of the second one is a booster that helps you get into the end zone. Now let's talk about some alternative routes. Let's start at the end and move our way backwards. First, right in front of the end zone is a ramp you can use should you miss the end zone or lack units. Not something you can rely on, but better try than simply fail. Next, instead of crossing the final trash ramp with a 180, you can also do a 180 to the other side. This is the WR route. It may look easier, but at least in my experience it's much harder because of the angle and head hits and shit. In the middle of the map there are two alternatives. Instead of flicking through the window like we did earlier, we can also weave through the middle. It's not hard and faster, but I feel like you need more units for it. I don't know. It's weird, probably I'm just dumb. Then, instead of going over the glass thingy, we can pass it at the side. Okay, and lastly, there's a way to serve the first ramp differently. Basically going below the bar instead of above. It's much harder, not just because it's tighter, but also because there's an extremely cringe little ramp strafe hidden underneath the bar. The WR uses this to get a different entry into the next room and then just kinda magically flies through all the pipes.